I died in the middle of a law exam, my chest locking up before everything went dark. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying in a jungle but my body felt wrong. I had paws, fur, and when I tried to speak, only a squeak came out. A girl named Carline knelt in front of me as a glowing screen appeared and confirmed it. I'd been reborn as a tiger cub. Her hand touched my head, and something snapped into place. Just like that, I belonged to her. She named me Blaze and fed me raw meat. Instinct took over before I could think, and I tore into it like I'd done it all my life. 3 nobles stepped out of a nearby villa, and one of them, Vedette, locked onto me immediately. She tried to claim me on sight, but Carline stepped in front of me and refused. Her father didn't argue. He took her straight to a testing arena. Carline shoved a potion into my mouth, and power surged through me. Vedette followed with her own potion, but the moment I swallowed it, I threw up all over her boots. The crowd burst into laughter, and then my stomach twisted. My vision spun, and I collapsed into darkness. I woke up in a soft room with Carline beside me, her hand resting on my fur. She fed me a healing potion, and strength rushed back into my body. She curled around me like I'd always been hers, while her father called me special. I ignored him and focused on the system. Level 1. Telepathy locked at level 3. One goal, level up fast. I chased Carline through the villa, struggling to balance on 4 legs as I checked my stats again. Level 3. Telepathy. If I reached it, I could finally speak. Training started immediately. Thomas built a glowing obstacle course, and Carline dropped me at the start without warning. I launched forward as platforms shifted beneath me and tunnels flickered between safe and deadly. I moved on instinct, jumping, climbing, pushing through every trap. Mid-run, a pill shot into my mouth and energy spiked through my body. I accelerated, forcing myself faster until I burst out of the final tunnel and slammed straight into a bear cub. Vedette's beast blocked the exit, growling. I didn't hesitate. I bit him, and he hit back harder. We tore into each other with claws and teeth until Carline yanked him away. The system chimed, average result. Then it flashed again. Level up. Level 2. Closer. Carline hugged me tightly while her parents watched in silence. Then something shifted. The bear spoke inside my head. Not me. Him. He already had telepathy. He admitted he attacked on his own to impress Vedette. We moved to the food pile, and while he suggested fish, I focused on the real question, how telepathy worked. I needed it soon. We followed our tamers through the halls as a steward named Martinwitz watched us closely. Demos, my rival, asked about something I'd said earlier, so I kept it simple. Eat, rest, hunt, enjoy what we are. He accepted it, but I slipped and called his tamer by the wrong name. The man froze, corrected me, and walked off. Before I could recover, the steward stepped in and threatened to mark us down. Demos tackled me before it escalated, and we rolled across the floor like idiots. Carline laughed, and the system rewarded charisma, wiping the tension clean. Next came hunting. The jungle was dense and alive with danger. Demos caught a scent and bolted, so I used a swiftness potion and shot past him, locking onto a partridge. We lunged, and a net snapped shut midair. We hung helpless as a wood elf named Queenie approached, smiling like we were already hers. The net snagged on a branch, and I tore into it while Demos joined in. We ripped it apart just before she reached us. New skill unlocked, escape power. She stepped forward again, but Carline's voice cut through the jungle. The others arrived, and Queenie saw who we belonged to. She turned and ran. Carline set me down and sent us back out. Hunt again. Demos caught another scent, and we tracked it carefully until a bright pink parrot dropped in front of us. She introduced herself as Gussie and asked to join. Demos pointed out we hunted birds, but she shrugged it off. Everyone eats. Fair enough. The moment Gussie joined us, everything shifted. Carline lit up while Vedette shut down, and Demos warned me it would backfire. I kept moving, carrying 2 rabbits in my jaws as the jungle adapted around us. Mud, vines, sudden movement, chaos until instinct took over. I locked onto a rabbit, closed my jaws, and everything narrowed to fur and silence. The system responded instantly. Hunting skill up. Gussie settled into my fur like she belonged there while the humans argued behind us. They couldn't hear us, but Demos and I already understood, beasts didn't need voices. Still, Gussie tried. She forced words together, clumsy but clear enough. The group hesitated as Vedette questioned bonding a bird, so I pushed a thought toward Carline's parents inside the house. Gussie repeated it out loud. Mom, Dad, everything changed. Martinwitz revealed the truth, Carline's parents had lost their beasts a year ago. The bonds vanished overnight without warning. Demos filled in the rest, and Carline saw something in Gussie, hope. She grabbed the bird and dragged us all to Lamant's study. The room was packed with scrolls and glowing tools. Lamant greeted us calmly and mentioned the poacher escaping before offering me a charge pill. I ignored it and told Gussie to take it instead. She snatched it from his hand and dropped it into my mouth. My charisma ticked up, and after a brief pause, I swallowed. Power exploded through me. My body surged as my stats spiked, and the room trembled under my roar. Then everything went still. Gussie leaned into Lamant's hand as light formed between them. He froze, then whispered that he'd bonded again. The system confirmed it. Quest complete. 2 days later, we returned to the arena for a new task, shooting stars. Lamant activated my heart chakra, and energy flooded through my body. I shaped it into golden bursts, spreading across the mosaic until the entire pattern lit up perfectly. Carline tackled me in excitement while I licked her face without thinking. Across the arena, Demos struggled as his pattern broke apart. The system locked me out from helping, so I sent Gussie instead. She circled above him as the timer dropped to 2 minutes, and a gust of wind revealed the gaps. He saw it and pushed everything he had. Stars exploded into place just as time hit 0. Both mosaics lit up. Task complete. We bumped noses in silence as Lamant announced we'd broken his old record. After the celebration, I stopped Demos before we left. I laid it out. Martinwitz had access to everything, and it felt too perfect. Demos didn't argue. He gave me 2 names. Memo. Judo. The ones who vanished. I stepped closer and set the plan. We hunt them down. He agreed without hesitation. At the feast, we tore through piles of meat while Demos told me his past. Poachers had taken him, caged him, and forced him to perform until Vidette got him back. That sealed it. We start hunting. The next morning, we broke into their old room. Gussie guarded the door while Demos tore through the floor and I searched for scent. It was faint, but it was there, both of them. Then footsteps approached. We dove under the bed as servants walked in and started talking. They mentioned smugglers targeting noble houses in a pattern, 1 feline, 1 canine. Not random. Never random. Memo and Judo were chosen. Demos went still beside me as the truth settled in. The moment they left, I set the next step. We go to the beast ball and catch them in the act. Hours later, I regretted everything. They covered me in jewels, ribbons, and glitter until I looked like a walking trophy. Demos laughed while Gussie loved it, which made it worse. Then the doors opened. The ballroom was packed with nobles and beasts radiating power. We entered one by one, Lamant with Gussie, Vidette with Demos, and finally Carline with me. I walked in steady, moving through the crowd until something bit my tail. A massive wolf cub, Lobo, grinned at me and told me to move faster. I ignored him and kept walking, but a handler grabbed me and tried to drag me out. I dug into the marble and refused to move. Lamant shut it down, and Carline carried me out as everyone watched. They rushed me into a clinic where magic flooded my body. A lozenge restored my fur instantly, and I stepped back like nothing had happened. Then Lady Lamamorma dragged Lobo in and forced him to apologize. I accepted, but he leaned in close and promised to kill me the next time I was alone. Back in the ballroom, I ignored him and focused on the mission. I scanned the crowd between bites, and then another tiger started walking toward me. Lightning approached me with sharp eyes, studying every move like she already knew more than she should. The music started, and Carline sent me forward. I stepped onto the floor, matched her pace, and moved with her rhythm, turn, spin, step, clean and controlled. She watched closely as we danced, tracking every shift. Then everything broke. The ballroom vanished. Every beast froze in place like cracked statues, and my legs turned to porcelain beneath me. I snapped back mid-step. The music continued, lightning still in front of me. I kept dancing like nothing happened until the moment passed. She thanked me quietly and disappeared into the crowd. Gussie teased me the second she returned, and Demos joined in. We messed around again, acting normal, until Lobo showed up. I ignored him at first, but then I slipped and mentioned Teen Wolf. He caught it instantly and forced me to explain, so I spun a quick story that held just enough weight. He listened, then leaned in close. I didn't belong here, and I should stay away from lightning. He walked off. Demos laughed it off, and Gussie backed me up, but I stayed focused. The mission came first. We pushed through the party until exhaustion hit, paws aching, stomach full, the ballroom blurring into noise and movement. Then a bear named Ursula announced all beasts would stay overnight in the beast wing. Lightning approached again and asked me to join her there. I accepted. The beast wing felt unreal. Beds, ledges, pools, everything built for us. Demos dropped onto the grass while Lightning watched, calm and steady. Then Lobo slammed down nearby and claimed the space like it was his. I stayed close to Demos and ignored him. The room quieted quickly, and I fell asleep. Then something woke me. Heavy footsteps. Slow. Careful. And a smell. Rotten. Human. Wrong. I called out, but no one answered. Lobo woke next and caught it too. We weren't alone. The steps stopped right beside me. Hands grabbed me. I reacted instantly and bit through the glove. He screamed, and the room exploded into chaos, claws, wings, teeth everywhere. Gussie shrieked as the man panicked, muttering that we were supposed to be drugged. He lifted me again. Everyone attacked him at once, but it didn't matter. He threw Lobo aside and tightened his grip on me. Then he whispered, "If I fought, Carline gets hurt." I stopped. He carried me through the garden like I weighed nothing. The system activated and named him Viscount Bale Rosser. A tamer. A thief. He talked about ownership like I already belonged to him. A guard stepped in and blocked our path. Rosser lied smoothly, but the guard didn't buy it. That was enough. I bit harder. He dropped me. I leaped toward the guard and almost landed on his blades, but he caught me midair. Behind us, Rosser ran as guards flooded the area. Too late for him. Carline stormed in, grabbed me, and held on tight while checking every inch of me. She didn't let go. Then Lady Lammermorma arrived, furious, dragging Lobo behind her. The next morning, we stood in the garden as Martinwit spoke. No criticism this time, just approval. Then his tone shifted. The next time someone grabbed me, I fight. No hesitation. Message received. He brought up Memo and Judo, still missing. Then lightning came up. Relations with her house were frozen. Demos mocked me, Gussie joined in, and I ignored both. I asked about Lord Lammermorma. No one knew where he was. So I shifted the focus. Someone inside their house helped the kidnapper. Demos agreed immediately. We couldn't question them directly, so we pulled them out instead. Carline wrote the letter, Thomas delivered it, and we waited. 2 days later, the reply came. Hans was furious. Servants missing. House unstable. He agreed to meet on market day, with no supervision. Lightning would be there too. Good. Before that, we visited a hermit, Niall Widdershins. His home looked simple, but power pulsed through every corner. He fed us, listened, then cut straight to it. A curse. He spoke about Lady Lammermorma's past, another husband, a disappearance, secrets buried deep. Then he pulled out a pendulum. It spun too fast. We were cursed. He activated a crystal orb, and light filled the room. Shapes formed, marble beasts, frozen and cracked. The same thing I saw during the dance. Everyone turned to me. Niall met my eyes and named it Dream Visions. The system confirmed it instantly. Then he opened a heavy book and revealed the curse, Captivius Hex. It spreads across entire houses, weakens bonds, and turns beasts into statues. Exactly what I saw. Carline slammed the table while Vidette demanded answers. Niall focused the orb again, and a symbol appeared, a black tiger with glowing whiskers. Not a house. A person. We ran. The market was packed, impossible to navigate, so I reached out with telepathy. Lightning answered first and pulled us to a table where Hans waited in disguise. We sat and ate quickly while Carline told him the truth. Someone in his house helped kidnap me. Hans froze, then locked in. He believed it immediately and promised to tear his house apart to find them. Carline grabbed his hand, and light formed between them. A soul bond. Everything tightened. We returned to Niall's cottage and shut the door. Lightning stepped closer, asking what was happening. I told her, curse confirmed, not directly her house. She accepted it, then added something unexpected. Lobo defended me because he felt guilty. Across the room, Niall turned to Hans and went deeper. He knew his mother's past, knew her first husband. Then he said it. The first husband was alive. Everything stopped. Then it got worse. He helped kidnap Memo and Judo. And he tried to take me. The system reacted, new objective. Break Lobo's bond. Hans snapped, ready to expose everything, but Carline steadied him. Niall gave him a choice. He chose the truth. I added one more piece. Rosser could be the first husband in disguise. That hit hard. The system stacked another quest. Unmask them both. First step, free Lobo. Most plans failed. One worked. Replace him. We needed another beast. The scent of flour led us to the kitchen, where we found a red fox pup stealing food. Niall called him Shade. I offered him a place with us. He refused and lunged. We clashed and broke apart. I changed tactics, status, pride, a noble house. He hesitated. Demos pushed harder, and that finally hit. Shade accepted. Hans picked him up, already planning, but Carline stepped in. She was coming too. Hans refused, but I made the call. We go anyway. No adults. No backup. The system confirmed it. Mission active. We slipped out after selling a clean lie to our parents. Hans was already waiting with Shade when we regrouped. The Lammermormer estate rose ahead of us, massive and silent. Hans led us through a side entrance to avoid his mother. A servant stopped us, but Carline handled it smoothly, and we slipped inside. We reached Hans's room and forced Shade into a bath, cleaning him up fast while he fought every second of it. Then footsteps hit the door. Lady Lammermormer. Hans stalled her and bought us 10 minutes. We moved. Lightning guided us through the halls toward the arena. I ran through the conditions in my head: consent, timing, transfer. No mistakes. She arrived with Lobo. I stayed hidden. Lobo paused, sniffed, and looked straight at me, then looked away. He was covering for us. Hans stepped forward and presented Shade, but Lady Lammermormer dismissed him instantly. Planner failed. I signaled lightning. Now. Lobo exploded. He tore through the arena, ignoring every command. She forced a potion into him, and he bit her hand. Hans stepped in, pushing the risk: unstable, dangerous, too much to control. She broke. Switched targets. She chose the fox. Shade jumped forward. The ritual began. Light built between them, then erupted. The bond snapped. Lobo lifted his head. Free. Hans shoved him toward us, and we moved immediately. Carline ran with him without looking back. Behind us, the bond reformed. Shade. New contract. Clean. And now we had a freed beast, with enemies who wouldn't stop hunting us. The bond snapped clean, and then Lady Lammermormer gave the order. Take Lobo to the shed. Everything froze for a split second, then chaos broke loose. Hans stepped in to block her, magic detonated across the arena, and lightning got thrown back by the blast. We attacked at once. Gussie dove from above, demos clamped down, and I went low for her legs as the arena cracked under the pressure. Then a voice cut through everything. Cold. Absolute. Lord Lammermormer was standing there. Alive. Everyone stopped. Guards rushed in and seized Lady Lammermormer as she fought and screamed, but they dragged her out anyway. Just like that, she was gone. Hans didn't move. The entire house shifted around him. Then a guard ran in. Breathless, she escaped. Of course she did. We moved immediately. The system activated, advanced tracking. Scent trails lit up around us, sharp and clear, and we followed them through the mansion and across the grounds. Then they vanished. Almost. One place left. The shed. Hans opened the door, and the smell hit. Rot. Pain. Something deeply wrong. We stopped right there. No one spoke. Later, the house filled with people, food, and noise, but nothing felt right. Carline barely touched her meal before our parents arrived, already furious. Where were you? What were you thinking? Carline held her ground and said we saved beasts. They pushed back. We risked everything. The argument hung in the air until it collapsed under silence. I moved to Lobo. He confirmed one thing: Rossa was still alive. Then I asked about the thefts. He paused, then shut it down. No answers. The trail went cold again. Minette called it a win. Lammermormer was safe. Lightning agreed. Demos dropped it. I let it go. For now. I shifted focus back to the system, level 3, telepathy unlocked. But something had changed. I stopped grinding and started choosing. Helping Lobo had opened a new path. He nudged me, and we settled it fast. Fight, rivalry, done. Then I pushed him toward Minette, and the bond formed right there in the arena. Light flared, and when it faded, he stood different. Stronger. Riddlehoven. The system rewarded it with XP and items, pushing me closer to the next threshold. Then something clicked. Same rewards. Same pattern. I asked the system, and it answered. Lobo was Damon. My brother. The system locked the words in my throat, forcing me to carry it in silence. The next morning, Carline was gone. I checked the bond. She was with Hans. Lightning confirmed it, and we brushed it off, until the smell hit. Rot. Filth. Wrong. Footsteps followed. Goblins flooded the mansion. We moved first. Shooting stars spread across the floor, pulling them into the light, and we tore into them with claws and teeth. They were stronger, level 4, and they hit back hard. We got cut. Pushed back. Still fighting. More poured in. Lightning disappeared under them. I pushed forward, and leveled up. Level 3. Telepathy unlocked. I reached out to Carline. She answered. She was coming. Then something slammed into my head. Everything went black. I woke up chained in a cold cave, surrounded by goblins. A raven-like bird approached, watching me carefully. I offered a deal, food for help. He accepted. They dragged me to their chief, Kars. He pointed at me, and the cave erupted. Ra. Tiger. not prey. A prize. I played along, ate when told, stayed quiet, waited. Then Carline's voice reached me through the bond. They were tracking me. That was enough. Dag woke me, the attack had started. I snapped the chains with shooting stars and dove into the chaos as Cars reached for me. Too slow. Carline hit him first and pulled me in as the others arrived. Hands, demos, lightning. We pushed forward together. Cars fell. The goblins scattered. We walked out. Back at the mansion, everything slowed. Warmth returned, bodies piled together, safe for now. My stats updated, level 3, telepathy active. The next day, we were back in the arena. Lobo slammed me into the ground again. Minette ordered him to fight properly, and Carline shouted for me to stop holding back. So I moved. Shooting stars spread across the floor as Lobo blurred past my attacks. I adjusted, placed the stars ahead instead of behind, and forced him into the trap. He hit the burning ground, stumbled, then charged straight into me. He knocked me into my own flames, and before I could recover, the system interrupted. New side quest. We headed to the village, where requests flooded in. Carline shut most of them down until one stood out, imps attacking a farm. I accepted. The system locked it in. The farm looked empty until the ground exploded and imps burst out in dozens. They launched me into the air, but I twisted midfall and crushed one on landing. New skill, super jump. Carline circled the field, herding them together. I launched high, spread shooting stars across the ground, and forced them into a tight cluster. I could have finished them, but I stopped. I offered a deal instead. Work the farm. Stay alive. The farmer hesitated, then agreed. The imps followed. Problem solved. Then Jessamine arrived and tried to buy the farm for nothing. Carline refused, and when she pushed harder, Carline gave the order. Attack. I launched in with super jump as the imps and animals swarmed her. She broke quickly and retreated. Quest complete. Then my vision snapped. Hospital lights. Machines. Voices calling my name. Damon stood there, and then I was back. I said nothing. A week later, the tournament began. The arena filled with new competitors, a baboon, a massive snake, and my stats displayed publicly for everyone to see. Training intensified. The obstacle course had changed, floating platforms, a dark tunnel, rings over water. Lobo went first, nearly falling before recovering and entering the tunnel. Then nothing. Too quiet. Demos charged in. I followed. We found Lobo inside, injured and dragging a leg. I triggered a healing potion, and he recovered instantly, pushing forward without stopping. We exited into the ring section. Lobo moved cleanly. Demos followed, and I slipped on my first jump before adjusting and swinging through with my claws. At the final rings, I missed, and dropped. I triggered super jump midfall and caught the last ring just in time, crashing beside Lobo. New skill, speed boost. We moved on. Next section, metal jaws snapping across a narrow path. Demos timed it, and we ran together, clearing it just as the blade slammed shut behind us. Then the ground vanished. I dropped into a slide, shot through darkness, and burst back into daylight. Run complete. Later, left alone, we trashed the room in seconds and got caught mid-mess. We pivoted fast and pushed for a hunt instead. In the jungle, we tracked a flying python and set half the area on fire by accident. The snake dropped on us as we scrambled to put it out. When it rose again, ready to strike, we changed tactics. No attack. We offered a bond. Niall Widishin stepped forward, began the ritual, and the snake accepted. Light formed. The bond sealed. Peridot joined us. We returned to the mansion, and I smelled blood. Fresh. Sharp. We ran to the study. The door was locked, and Carline forced it open. Inside, Lament lay collapsed. I reacted instantly, triggered a healing elixir, and flooded the room with energy as healers rushed in. They confirmed it. Poison. I released healing mist while the others added their power, forcing a reaction. He coughed and breathed. Alive. Barely. We started searching immediately. Niall checked the drink, Peridot scanned the walls, and I spotted a disguised lever. I triggered it. A hidden passage opened. We stepped inside. A glowing magic circle filled the chamber, and at its center stood a hybrid, jaguar and scorpion combined. Level 6. We attacked. Hits landed, but it kept regenerating. The circle was feeding it. I switched targets. Niall shattered one rune, weakening it. The creature lashed out, and I intercepted the strike midair while the others pinned it down. Niall destroyed the final rune. The circle collapsed. The creature stopped fighting. It spoke. It didn't poison Lament. It was a guardian, protecting something sealed beneath the mansion. And whatever was down there was still active.